It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. Y'all know how we've been talking about other people trying to give you your identity? We're going to come back to that point a little later on in this message. But right now, I want y'all to think about this. The nation of Israel is comprised of 12 tribes, which are representatives of the 12 sons of Jacob, or Israel is his name. So these 12 sons are a unified body. Y'all understand that? The 12 sons of Jacob are all offspring of their father, so they are all one unit in his father's hand. You see? They are the father's strength. And they are unified as one. Y'all understand that? So, when you read the scriptures, you see that Israel splintered off and broke into two. Y'all notice that? Way back in Rehoboam's time, Solomon's son. So if you notice, David, the warrior king, unifies Israel as one. Solomon, wisdom king, peacetime king, ruled over the unified 12 tribes of Israel as one nation. Y'all hear this? But Solomon went off into idolatry later on in his life, as we read. Got caught up with the women, see? Went astray. And because of that, the kingdom was broken into two. Under two kings, Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Jeroboam, king of the northern tribes. Rehoboam, king of the south, or king of Judah. Okay? Y'all following this? Yahushua says a house divided can't stand. A house. Do y'all think of a building when you think of a house? Because Yahushua's talking about a family when he says house. Just like when those boys would be presenting themselves, Levi, Simeon, Reuben, Judah, whoever, when they were presenting themselves, they would say, I'm from the house of Israel. See? Y'all see how that's working? Yahudah, from the house of Israel. Y'all get it? So now, when they split into two, they started to call themselves by two different houses. The house of Judah and the house of Israel. You see? A house divided can't stand, brothers. Y'all have to stand together because y'all are a family. So now we want to flash forward from that moment I just described under Rehoboam and Jeroboam, the split. We were doomed at that moment. We were doomed, y'all. A house divided cannot stand. Now, the prophecy of Ezekiel 37, there's a prophecy written there that says that Abba Yah will connect these two sticks that were broken. I just described the breaking of the stick. Rehoboam, Jeroboam. That's two sticks now. It was just Solomon, one stick. The way Abba intended the scepter to be. Scepter should remain in the hand of Judah. So that was the way it was supposed to be. The house of Israel under the banner of Judah as the head tribe or the royal tribe. You see? That's why Yahushua he's the Lion of Judah, the king, priest. You see? So splintered off, house divided can't stand. Now we're going to flash forward to today. Now, we got a lot of misnomers been put on the 12 tribes of Israel. I told you guys, I was in the Philippines, and there were people over there called Negritos. Okay? Indigenous people over there live in the mountains with little afros and bronze colored skin in the Philippines. Negritos, they call them. Okay. We also got woolly headed melanated people over here called Dominican, called Puerto Rican, called Brazilian, called Cuban, called Haitian, called Iroquois, called Chippewa. Are y'all following me? I mean, are y'all following me? Called Mexican, called Argentinian, called Chilean, called Panamanian. Y'all following me? Called Honduran. Can y'all keep up? So there's been many, 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 many misnomers put on all of these people, which think they're now different people. Now there's many, 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 many more. I mean, let's go on the continent of Africa and look at all the fake names they've put on those tribes over there. So we're just on the tip of the iceberg with the ones I just mentioned. But I want to use this to describe to you the splintering that has been done. Now these people think that, let's just use two. Haitian and Dominican. It's one island split into two. Now, do the Haitians and Dominicans get along? Dee 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 do 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 do. Now, there is confusion of faces. We don't want to have no more confusion of faces, so let's clear it up. We're not talking about the Spaniards, okay? Because there are a lot of Spaniards that say I'm Mexican or I'm Puerto Rican, but they're actually a Spanish bloodline, okay? Which is Esau, Edom. So we're not talking about those. We're talking about the indigenous people, woolly-headed, melanated people, the indigenous tribes. Everybody, talk about, let's use one example of Mexicans. Now, the quintessential idea that comes to your mind of a Mexican is not the Mexican I'm talking about. Do you understand me? You see? The guy that's out there that's cutting the grass over there on the side and everything with the hat on his head, with the landscaping truck and all that shit, that guy, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the indigenous people before Spaniards came over there and mixed their blood in. It made those guys. You see what I'm telling you? Talking about the indigenous people. They say Olmec. They say Taino. You see these words? So the indigenous people of the Americas have been given misnomers on them, and though they are all Negroid people, they war with each other over stupid things like, oh, you're from that island, so you must be different. You're Bahamian. So I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so I'm different than you are. No, you're not. No, you're not. The slave ship just happened to take another turn when that wind blew and it took them to that island instead of the Bahamian island. Shit, that's all that happened, nigga. You ended up on that one. That was your cousin that ended up on the other one. Your brother ended up on the other island. Now they gave y'all two different names. Look at this shit. It was two brothers on one ship. On two different ships. One of the ships got tossed around by the waves and got off track, so it ended up on another island somewhere. And they said, oh, this island is cool. We'll call this island Barbados. And then the other nigga ended up on the other island. He said, yeah, I'll call this island, let's see, Puerto Rico. Okay. So his slaves, he calls them Puerto Ricans. Now, what does Puerto Rico mean? Watch when you call yourself Puerto Rican. Watch this shit I'm describing to you guys. Puerto Rico means rich port. So if you say I'm Puerto Rican, you're saying you are a rich portian. You're a rich port. See the foolery and dumbness of the shit? Dominican, dog. Come on now. Y'all didn't know that? Domingo. Dominican. Huh? Y'all don't know what that means? Okay, then. So y'all better get hip and stop hating each other. American Negro is no different than the Bahamian, the Jamaican, or anything in this. They're just from different tribes of one man that offspring them. Benjamite, Judite, Asherite, Naphtaliite, Simeonite, Levite. You see? Give you an example. I made a video not too long ago. Two lights in the dark. Two lights in a dark world. And it's me and my brother Malakizadok. Two different messages, but they were so unique and so so similar that we tied them together and made one message out of them. Well, he's from the tribe of Levi, see? Now, if you look at me and him, if we were standing next to each other, we would look very similar. We would have differences, yes, but we would look similar. We would both be Negroid. We would both have woolly hair and bronze colored skin. You understand that? Why? Because we came from the same man, Israel. We are sons of Israel. So me and him, I would be considered an American black Negro. That's what they would call me. And then he would be considered a Haitian. Then we're different, they would say. No, we're not. No, we're not. We are brothers. Simple as that. That is my brother. That is why we speak the same, feel the same about life, teach the same types of things. We teach and enlighten about the same type of things. We worship the same creator. We worship the same son of the creator. So you guys don't understand. We're brothers. See? And I'm telling y'all that so that y'all understand there is no difference between these 12 tribes. As long as you think there are, then you're hindering the process of us becoming one stick. You're holding up the prophecy of Ezekiel I told you about. You see? Of you becoming one stick in Abba's hand. I will take Judah and Ephraim. Now, who was the head of the southern kingdom? Judah. Who was the head of the northern kingdom? Ephraim. Joseph. See? The two anointed ones of both tribes, Joseph and Judah. Or Yahusha, if you understand what I'm saying. So those are the two sticks going to become one again. And that's what I'm describing to you all right now. No more you guys doing y'all thing, North Kingdom. Having your little parties and salsa music and shit and dancing and shit. And then when you see your brother Judah come in and shit and he's an American black, then you think, oh, he doesn't know nothing about this flavor and he don't know nothing about this culture. And no. Get Spanish culture out your ass, okay? Stop thinking you're a Spaniard. Stop. You're different. That's why the Spanish kinds of your kind don't like y'all. That's that simple, y'all. You will have Brazilians that are light skinned and will call the dark skinned Brazilians black. Ain't it silly, y'all? You never heard of the Hutu and the Tutsi? You never heard of that? Well, you better go watch Hotel Rwanda and find out. With Don Cheadle. And find out about it, how it all came to be, how people were killing each other over the size of their noses and their height and skin tone. And how there was a man who was a Hutu and he had a wife who was a Tutsi. And though they were from the same exact tribe, they were two different people because somebody else said they were. You hear this shit? It happens all over the world, not even in Israel. You go over there to the Elamites. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, a lot of y'all don't know that. The Indians, Pakistanis, those people that look like that, see? Brown skin, see? Well, their own people do that to them too. A son of a family will meet a girl, and then the mother of that son will ask him immediately, is she fair-skinned? Is she fair-skinned and beautiful? Look at this shit. Look what Esau done done. Didn't it say he deceived the whole world? What was his deception? That white was right. White ain't never been right. Let's prove it. What did happen to Miriam when she was talking about the Cushite woman, Moses' wife, Zipporah? What happened to Miriam? Her skin, the melanin in her skin was removed and the pigmentation was removed, and she was made white as snow. And then she was sent outside of the camp to live outside in the desert for 7 days with no melanin or pigmentation in her skin. So how in the hell is it right to be made to look like white? What you call white? Let's get another one. There was another time when Moses was like, I need a sign to show the people so that they'll believe me. He said, put your hand in your bosom, Moses. And when he put his hand in there and plucked it out, it said his hand was as leprous and white as snow. Sorry about the leprosy part. That was Miriam. Leprous as snow. His hand was white as snow. And then he said, put your hand back in. And when he put it back in, it became like unto his other flesh. So what the hell does that mean? That Moses was a white man. He put his hand in his bosom to show a sign to people. When he plucked it out, it looked like a white man's hand. What the hell kind of jacked up ass sign is that? They didn't know damn sign. And then when he put it back in his jacket, he put it out, it looked exactly the same as it did. But now let's see if we flip it and just see if we have a struggle like we did with that. Let's say he's a Negro man and he puts his melanated hand in his bosom. He pulls it out. It's white as snow. And then he puts it back in and it's back melanated like the rest of his body. Are you struggling now? I love clarity. Shit. I don't love Claritin, but I love clarity. We clarity clear over here. I told you the air is different over here, man. We don't have to struggle with none of this shit. So it's about time that all of you indigenous people, you people that claim indigenous ancestry, lineage, that you grasp the hands of your American Negro brothers and sisters. Okay? There's a reason why that particular Negroid having person is in America. Let me say that a little bit different. There is a reason why the American Negro is in America and the other Negroes are scattered over the earth. There's a reason why there are a particular tribe of Negroes in America. There's a reason for that. So grab their hands. Stop hating on each other, Negroes across the world, Dominicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans. Hold hands now with the American Negro and UK Negro and French Negro and German Negro and Filipino Negro and Samoan Negro and Australian Negro and Polynesian Negro and Russian Negro and Chinese Negro and Japanese Negro and all across the world. Grasp hands, stop hating each other, get over yourselves, love yourselves once again as one, so we can become one stick in our Father's hand and we can get the hell on about it, this wicked ass world. Silawan Misraela.